Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. We're in a shop situation here. Nothing bad, just every week we're in a shop situation. In behind the camera, international man of mystery, Mitch. I know some of you think he doesn't exist, but do you really think that I film myself? No way. We're gonna do what's new. We're gonna do a short slideshow, and then we're gonna work on oil lines. These are the old oil lines. I got copper tubing out of China, 5mm that I cannot buy locally. From the time I ordered it to the time it showed up in my mailbox, 18 days. Not bad. Okay, so what's new is I bought a wheel off eBay. It's a Triumph 500 wheel, or 350. It's out of the early 60s. And on this side here, it gets a hubcap, which I don't like at all. It's way too shiny, and I think I'll just paint that black. On the other side is the backing plate, they call it, and I wanted to show you what the size difference is. So I got my tape measure a little better. So this is the stock cub. 5 3/8 inches, not even 6 inches. That's a very small brake. If anything pulled out in front of my bike and I had to stop, that wouldn't work very well. So that's a full 8-inch. So I think I'm going to use this hub. That means I have to find another rim. This is an 18-inch rim, and I want a 19 because that's what's on the bike right now. So searching for a rim. On the backing plate, I just wanted to show you this. This is how it came to me. Actually, it's in nice shape. Everything is looking really nice. It's a little bit, corroded and that, but it's in nice shape. And there's a couple marks here, but I polished this up. And if you haven't seen other earlier episodes, what I did, first I took some 180 grit. I sand it because of the corrosion. Then it's 320. Then it's coarse Scotch-Brite, and then I take some really worn Scotch-Brite or a softer Scotch-Brite, and then I use metal polish. That's about half an hour's work there, I figure, to get that kind of a surface looking like that. It's not perfect, but it's fine for what I want. If you look really closely, you can see really fine scratches, but that looks a lot nicer than that. Other news, on the 69er over here, I got the rotor on the back. So this bike is now complete. There's that rotor. And a lot of people wrote in and said, oh, I see one, I have one, can I send it to you? But I bought this out of Australia off eBay. So now the bike is complete. Feels good. So on the last episode, after that was over and we worked on the mount for the brake light switch, I had a thought and I thought, oh, I have to put a chain on. And there were comments as well. Thank you for those. So I looked and I did not leave enough room for a chain. So it had to get modified. So we're going to give you a little slideshow right now and you can see what I did while Mitch was somewhere else. Okay, here's a top view of the mount, and when I looked where the chain went right like that. So this part was too wide. So I set it up in the mill. I've got a 1/4-inch end mill. This is a 1/2-inch plate. I used an Allen screw to hold the mount down. And then I touched the end mill onto the plate. I raised up the end mill 1/8 of an inch, 0.125, because I'm going to put in an 1/8 inch washer. So you can see what's happened here. I've taken the end mill and I've cut around, but I haven't gone through. Then I took a piece of 3/4 inch rod, drill the hole, and I fasten that on because there's a thread in here, Allen screw. So now I'm making a fixture that's going to hold this part onto the body here. I looked through my scrap. I found some 1/4 inch plate. This one had a nice curve to it, so I used this one. You can see how it's mounted on there now. I use the hole saw, 3/4 inch hole saw, so I get that radius, and then I hacksawed this, filed it. I've got some, I don't know if you can see, there's a TIG tack. I put five TIG tacks just to hold it because it has to come off. So once that's done, I can take off this piece now. So I've got my hacksaw. I had to put the blade on the side at an angle because otherwise if I go straight down, this part of the hacksaw is hitting here and it cuts at an angle. So now I have to build the washer. This is 1/8 inch cold roll. This is 1/4 inch. This is going to be the washer. This is going to be the new arm. I've drilled a hole. It looks like the hole wandered a bit. Anyway, doesn't matter. Now I'm hacksawing it. Then it goes into the lathe on an arbor. I machine the OD of the washer. I nickel silver the washer onto the arm. Then after it cools down, I drill the hole, I tap it. So now here it is. This is the mount that goes onto the frame. This is the fixture that is TIG tacked on. This is the new mount. This is the old mount. I did a little filing here so that everything sits nice and flat. I did a couple little TIG tacks in here. So now this new arm is held onto the mount. Undid the Allen screw that holds this onto here. I took an adjustable wrench around here. I wiggled it back and forth and it broke the tacks. It wasn't that hard to break the tacks. Did some nickel silvering and there's the new mount. It's a slimline model. There's the old mount, big fat. And that's the fixture I no longer need. So we're right here by the bike, and you can see it's all done. It's all on the back there, and I couldn't find a spring which was the right one, so I used a little piece of nickel silver, and you see how it's curved. So if I'm using the brake and the switch ever bottoms out, it just bends this little nickel silver straight. So you can see here how it works. And this is being filed down. This is nice and slim as well. So now I can truly say that this is done. It needs anodizing, nickel plating, things like that. So now we're going to do some oil lines. Oil lines on the cub because we got the tubing. Let's do that. Here's the oil tank off the cub, and you can see on the bottom we have the oil lines. This is 1/4 inch, so I've got some tubing, rubber tubing. You see how that fits over there? And this is 1/4 inch as well. Well, this is smaller. This is what goes up to the rockers. So it'd be real handy if I make everything be 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to use these. I like these spring clips because they always hold. They're always adding a little bit of pressure onto the hose, unlike a hose clamp. So we're going to take some aluminum. We're going to make up a little tube that slides over that, a nice fit. Hold it on with some Loctite. And then in the meantime, I'm putting the engine into the frame, and then we have to work on the oil lines. Here's the oil lines that I have. I got 3 sets. And you can see they're in pretty bad shape. I'm going to use the fitting here. You can see can you see how the solder, this is soft solder here. It's not even holding anymore. So I made up a mount. I'm going to heat that up, pull those lines out, and I've got new copper tubing. So we have a project on our hands. So let's go off to the lathe. We're gonna drill a hole and make a little insert to go in here. So I've got some Loctite. It's retaining compound, so I put a little bit inside there. That'll act like a little bit like a lubricant, and There we go, got a little bit around there too. So let's see how this works. I have no idea. Got my tiny little hammer. That's a good fit. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do now is I've got a propane torch. We're gonna see if we can loosen off these and take out those. Oh, look at that. That was pretty easy. It is solder. There we go. I think we'll do this oil line first. So I need to make up a brass fitting. I made the aluminum one that went on the oil tank. I got some brass here. So we're going to make, because this is 5 millimeters and we have to bring it up to 1/4 inch or a little bit over. A little bit of flux for soldering. You don't need a whole lot. You can actually hear when it hits bottom. There you go. That's it. It flowed around. Go to there. Comes down to there. If I cut it off right here, I have enough. So probably right about there. That could be the center of the bend. Okay, let's try that. There's my mark. I'm holding this level. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so obviously should have had the bend at a different angle. So this needs to be parallel. So we can fix that. See the angle there now? So now it's coming down a bit. It's just, you can bend this incrementally. You don't have to do it all at once. If the tube comes down like that, the bend needs to start right about there, and it's a 90. I'll make a mark on the side. That's the side of the bend. So there's my mark. It's the side of the bend. And we're going for a 90. Not much spring back. There we go. So this goes on like that. And then if this comes up, do you see what I'm doing? If that tube got cut right there, that could work. Oh, wow. Was that quick? Wow. Just a little bit, because it's going to get oil. There'll be oil flowing through that tube for sure. Oh, look at that. There we go. Okay, so that's basically what it looks like. It comes around. So the bend is the tube, and now we have to do the other ones. So we're gonna lean the bike onto the table over there, and then we can access under here and see what's going on. This is the approximate length of the tubes. So I'm gonna cut off, I think, as much as I need here, and I'll just make this piece straight. If you're wondering why I got so much copper, it's because this is for the Excelsior oil lines. I still have a few Excelsiors to make. That fits in there like that. So we have to bend now, and we have to bend somewhat like this. This on the outside is the inlet, and that on the inside, the outside is the inlet, the inside is the return. So we have to make sure that we get the right ones there. We're basically making this one first. This one here, and it has to come around, it comes around this here. Okay, there's a bend. So we're on the inside. It's clearing this, so now we have to come around. So I think the bend is going to start right about there, somewhere around there, and it can be in the same plane as this bend. This has to come up. So let's put some bend in this. So you see what I'm doing here? I can press down and then I can pull up because it holds it. There we go. That's what I wanted. And I got a little curve coming up. Maybe I'll... like that. If the bend starts there, that might work. Maybe if the bend was back there a little bit. Okay, let's see what happens. Something like that. We need to add some bend right about there. That's where we need a little bit of an uplift. And this can get cut off right about there. Something like that. So I made a mark. I think what I'm going to do is I'll put a little tack solder here, and then when I bend this tube, I don't have to do it on the frame. This one has to just follow. This one will follow on the outside. I've had the screwdriver since I was a kid, since I was a teenager, and every time I do soldering and flux, I always use the same screwdriver. I guess I'm a creature of habit. Okay, so that's going to go something like that. I've got those, see those lines there? I'm going to hold this really lightly. Just one, oh, there we go. Okay, that's holding it. Okay, so we're going to put a little bend in there. And we start down low. I found a drill that just fits inside the tube. And I'm gonna, because I need to make the first bend so close up to the end, it stops the tube from squishing. So that's what I'm doing here. So I can hold it a little bit harder because I got the drill in there. And there we go. This little hacksaw with the fine teeth, it works really nice on copper tubing. It never gouges in and grabs. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's do soldering and then we're basically good. There we go. Okay, we just have to throw it around. Ooh, that was a little excessive there, Paul. Oil lines are on, mission complete. Thanks for hanging out in the shop here with me and Mitch. And we like coffee. If you buy us a couple coffees, much appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Take care.